Sunil Sundaraj. Tonight, I'm happy to be speaking with Joe Russo, a freshman at St. Joseph Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey, and a left tackle on the Green Knights freshman football team. Joe, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to be speaking with you.
Yeah, of course. Great to be speaking with you too. And I think that, I think we're definitely gonna have a really good conversation with about, family and football. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Can you talk about so far your freshman year again at St. Joe's, just how everything is working out and playing on the freshman, said football team here, Joe?
Well, obviously being a starter, it's always gonna come with its consequences. Pressure's always put on you. You always have a lot of expectations. And I think that I'm doing a decent job at, living up to them. But due to some practices and last game which we lost, I feel like I'm starting to not be as good as I should be, and my expectations are getting lowered. So I definitely need to raise those, and I definitely need to prove the people wrong that just think that they can talk bad about me.
Mhm. Hey, it's impressive, Joe, like in terms of your height and weight and the fact that you're just a freshman. I mean, look at those numbers, 6'3", 280 with a 6'6" wingspan. You've definitely have been, working out. Can you talk about training for a season in terms of the strength and conditioning, nutrition? I mean, there's a lot that goes into it in terms of getting ready for the rigors of a football season. But just talk about what you've been doing, especially on an individual basis.
Well, off season, I'm always doing the weights. I'm working out with my weight trainer, Justin Candulo, great guy. He always gets me in shape. Um, During the regular season, or maybe going closer into the season, I usually work out with Kevin Wilkins. He's an ex NFL D tackle, and he used to play
Hmm.
offensive tackle for St. Joe's. So we
Yeah.
kind of have that family connection. So it's easier to work with him. And during the season, I'm obviously working, practicing, cardio, not as good as I want it right now, but it's gonna get there. And I think that I definitely have a very balanced workout when it comes to weights, position, and just team training in general.
Yeah, no, that's excellent to hear. Now, I read up that you've done training at the Powerhouse Gym, and then you went to New York. You're from Orangeburg. Can you talk about the working out there at the Powerhouse Gym, and just again being able to work on your strength and conditioning, especially Joe?
Yeah, well, Powerhouse Gym, it's a great gym, has a lot of isolation type machines that helps you really work on certain parts of your body and just really helps you get a good workout in. And I think that's definitely the place for me because I have some spots in my body that I definitely need to improve on. One of them being, my arms. Surprisingly, my arms aren't really as big as I want them to be. If that's kind of being narcissistic, but I need,
Hmm.
I kind of want to have that power and that punch that, is marketed, and I definitely need to more improve on that. But nah, Powerhouse Gym is definitely a great place. I've definitely been getting my work in there, and I've definitely been hitting the weights, hitting. There's actually a turf in the back, so I've actually been
Yeah,
running a little bit, doing the sled, doing some pull ups, stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah.
it's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's a great way to build up your cardio and your endurance. I mean, just impressive numbers. I mean, bench pressing 285, squatting 405, running at 5'3" in the 40-yard dash. Can you talk about being able to, work on those numbers? But those, I mean, to start off and being able to, I mean, that's just, outstanding numbers. Just talk about that aspect as well, Joe.
Well, currently those are projections, but I'm looking to get to those.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking to get to those by like mid sophomore year. I'm close to the bench. I'm benching about, or not, sorry, not the bench, the squat. I'm squatting about 385 right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, and bench I'm about 235. So
Okay.
those are just projections, and I definitely think those projections are going to be met. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely need to improve my numbers. I definitely think that because I've been kind of out of the weight room because I'm more and more of a season mode. I don't really
Hmm.
lift as much during the season, so I definitely need to get those numbers back up and improve, and just get all the rust off.
Yeah. No, it's great. Still climbing that ladder and plenty of time left here, of course, at St. Joe's. Can you talk about there's so many techniques that go into, in terms of being, offensive lineman, the left tackle. Talk about the position. I mean, that, I was reading up on stuff in terms of using your size and advantage, leverage and hand placement. Just talk about that. Can you, let people know there, just in terms of playing that specific position of left tackle?
Well, left tackle, I mean, usually you want more of a lankier guy because he's usually going to be the backside guy. So you want him to be able to get around the field, be able to not let that DN cross his face. So I definitely think that I'm a good fit for the position. My footwork's not as good as it should be right now, but that's definitely something you need to play left tackle. There's going to be a lot of weak side runs coming your way. You definitely need to be able to get the guy in, get the guy out. Just drive him. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like definitely a left tackle is a really good position for me because I fit the description, and I really just think that I'm doing pretty decent at my position right now.
Yeah, no, that's very good to hear. Now, I had to ask you. I think you also played for the Bergen All Stars, and also I think it was the Dream All American game at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Can you talk about that, those experiences, and again, being able to play football? I said, I mean, you're practically playing it, almost year round, but the fact that you were able to participate and play for in those events or for those teams.
Well, playing for the Bergen All Stars was definitely an experience. My first ever years playing football. I was 11 years old. I was, very unathletic. They definitely they got me into shape. They got me moving, and I want to thank all the coaches actually because they definitely got in my head that I needed to just get my butt off, like get off my butt and just move. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I had to get in the weight room. I had to train. I had to show up to practice ready to work hard. And, that eventually led to me going to that Dream All American Bowl. Got invited, great experience. I couldn't really even describe it with words. Arlington, Dallas, that whole area, amazing place. A lot of cool places, like a lot of cool things to go to, a lot of places to visit, especially the
Mhm.
stadium. The stadium was outstanding.
Yeah.
Just that nostalgia of sitting in the Cowboys stadium on the field, looking at that star. It's insane to me. I still
Yeah.
can't believe that I played on that field. So yeah, nah, it
Yeah.
was an amazing experience.
Yeah, no, it's just a majestical place, I mean, it's like jaw dropping when I'm sure when you first walk up there and you see this, it's like a diamond in a dozen. I'm just looking at that facility. I mean, one of the probably I would say number one facilities out there. I mean, I know that you have of course SoFi out in California, but when you look at AT&T Stadium, I mean, as you said, the play, I mean, the tradition, the history of the Dallas Cowboys, and the fact that you were playing on the same field that these players of course are now on during the regular season. That's great. Hey, I want to transition to the St. Joseph Regional Green Knights freshman football team, the coaching staff per se. Head coach Brett Zev, assistant coaches Dan Nastasi, Mike DeMarco, Pat Duran, Rob Nightingale. Just talk about especially Coach Zev and just what he's meant to you, so far in terms of your progressing your development on the team.
Well, Coach Zev is like an uncle to me. I don't know if that's really weird to say or anything, but I feel like Coach Zev is
Mhm.
that he's mentored me. He's got in my head that I really need to, step in my game where I'm not there at yet. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta, keep keeping up with the team. And I think that keeping up with the team is the most important part of playing for a team. Because if you're the weak link of the football team, then they're not gonna want you and you're not gonna get those big time offers and those big time schools knocking at your door.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that Bert has definitely helped my mental. And I definitely think that he's, humbled me in a lot of different ways. One film session
Mhm.
later, it just, it was a good experience in that film room, just
Yeah.
getting here, like he spoke his mind and people listen. That's just how it works. Coach Stasi, offensive coordinator, great guy. When he coaches, he's definitely very serious. No slacking, no bad reps. If it's a bad rep, you do it again. If it's two
Mhm.
bad reps, like five push-ups. It's like he's a very this, that guy. Like he's very, serious. He does what he does and he does it quick, he
Mhm.
does it efficiently. And in the game, he comes to show. He comes to show up, he shows up and does his job. And that's why we only lost one game due to some,
Mhm.
execution problems. But that's not his fault. Other than that, we've had amazing offensive performance during the season. I think that he's definitely a big part of that.
Yeah.
Coach Pat, I'm not really closer with him, but he's a great guy to talk around. I definitely think he's a very good defensive mind. He's very good at articulating his words. Where to put the defense, where to blitz. Where to send the DNs, where to put the D tackles. He definitely he uses the defense like a puppeteer kind of thing. Like he
Mhm.
definitely he kind of runs the field. and I definitely think that he's a very good job. He's a very does a very good job at doing them. And then Coach Nightingale, obviously, really cool guy. He's actually the father of one of the varsity. I think he's the center for varsity. His name's Trey.
Okay.
Both a really nice family, really cool people. They definitely they get you working, but when you need a breather, when you need to calm down, you need to slow down, he's there and he makes sure
Hmm.
that you're just that you're not, overheating, or that you're not, having like an asthma attack or something, because there are kids on our
Yeah.
team with asthma. So he definitely, he's a good tempo, and he has a really good speed for how he practices.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic to hear. Hey, you brought up some great points, Joe, in terms of the mental part of the game and then watching film, because going back, seeing what you can improve on in terms of your technique, and just uh, analyze again what goes on during the course of a game. Just talk about how important that is for you, in terms of those subjects.
Watching film, definitely the most important part of the game. Execution's obviously up there, but I think watching film is, the most important part, because you get to learn. You get to learn, you get to sit down, you get to take notes, you get to see what you did wrong, and you get to improve on it when you get on the field.
Yeah.
Watching film is definitely something that has helped me over the years. I only got a huddle about a couple months ago, because
Okay.
I wasn't really into that yet, but yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's definitely been a really good investment, and I think that that's a very good thing for what
Yeah.
I've done. But what was the second question again? Like
No, I was
how?
just saying, like, everybody talks about like the physical aspect of the game, but I think mentally as well, you have to be sharp, you have to be focused. I mean, just talk about that. I mean, because again, it's a very physical sport, very taxing, but I said definitely mentally, you have to, again, really have your head, straight on. Just talk about it, how critical that is for you.
Well, the mental part of the game is also a very, very, very important part of the game. People can't get in your head on the other side of the field. That's just not
Yeah.
allowed. If someone tries talking trash, you just gotta walk past it and just go to
Yeah.
the next play. Um, in the locker room, that's definitely a big part of the game, because everyone's dilly dallying around, playing music,
Hmm.
like in the bathrooms, like they're not really locked in the way that they should be. But
Yeah.
when I walk into the locker room, I don't even have headphones on or nothing. I'm just looking. I look at the floor. I think of all the things that the school has done for me. I think of all the things that the other school has done to not really, that hasn't done for me.
Hmm.
Because especially with the Don Bosco game, they didn't start recruiting me until maybe a little bit after I enrolled into Joe's, and that's just I slipped under the radar for them. So I sat there and I really thought about, I slipped under someone's radar. It's time to prove someone wrong. It's time
Hmm.
to someone regret the decision that they made. And I walked in there. I felt ready. I felt like I was gonna execute. First play of the game, I executed well. Second, and after that, I just kind of declined. That's the way to put it. People got too much over their heads. O-line play wasn't good. Skill position play was decent at most, and it really aggravated me once we lost that game, because I really think we could have beat them. But if no one was locked in, and no one had the mental part of the game, including myself, no one had the
Hmm.
mental part of the game involved. So
And what is it about game day and practices, putting the pads on, but especially that I know that number 74 jersey, what that represents to you personally. That carries a lot of weight. That means a lot to you. And there's something significant about putting that number 74 jersey on. So I want to give you the floor, to let everyone know out there, especially about that jersey number.
my mom was born in 1974. She means a lot to me. That's really the first reason. Everyone's moms mean a lot to them. Secondly,
Mm,
she fought breast cancer for a very long time, and thank God she beat it.
that's
I
great.
just want, this is kind of just a place for me to spread awareness about breast cancer, and to kind
Hmm.
of just to let people know that I'm pretty sure I was looking at some statistics the other day, like other diseases and smaller. I can't say smaller stuff, but not more significant stuff. They're putting 10 times as much money into those diseases and than into any cancer like form of cancer. So if
Hmm.
you're watching this and someone has breast cancer, I'm praying for them. Someone that has breast cancer, I'm praying for them. I'll keep you in my prayers. And breast cancer, it hurts, like it kind of hurt, like it hits the well with that one. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just really where I come from and where my jersey really represents.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful to hear. And just so happy to hear that your mom is, is doing much better and it, definitely is fully recovered. Can you talk about also playing home games at St. Joe's? What does that mean? Just again, taking that field. I had to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing, walking onto that field, walking onto that green and gold. It's a different type of feeling because we don't have lights, so we can't play night games. So we got to
Yeah.
wake up 6, 7 o'clock, get there. Games at 9. We're still kind of waking up by the time we're on the field. But once we get on that
Hmm.
field, we feel that breeze. You see that cross on the top of the hill. We know it's game
Yeah.
time, and we know we're about to execute. Our first home game, like I said, it didn't go as planned, but we got another home game in about 4 or 5 weeks, and I definitely think that that's going to be a very different result because I
Yeah.
think that we're locked in. We're going to be more experienced, more advanced, and we're going to definitely learn from our mistakes from the previous week. And
Yeah.
just playing for that team in general is a blessing, and having the opportunities to even hit the field in general is it's amazing to me.
Yeah, no, that's tremendous. Hey, yeah, as we know, Joe, it's just not being an athlete, it's being a student athlete. You definitely have flourished, 3.8 GPA, you've been on the honor roll, as said, you definitely have been able to thrive in that environment. Just talk about, again, being able to balance that out in terms of the time management and organization, because that's essentially, in terms of, with studies.
Yeah, well, me personally, I'm not actually as organized as you may think. When it comes to classwork, I get my classwork done. I usually hand it in during there, so I don't really have to store it anywhere. Homework wise, I'll print it out at home, get it done. I'll put it in a folder where I can't lose it because that's just how it works. Tests, I always
Mhm.
show prepared. I always study 2 weeks, 3 weeks before it's the test. Like as soon as it's announced, I'm studying. I'm in the textbook for at least an hour a day,
Mhm.
and I'm really just I'm really like, and like it's almost like a game day. I'm really, I'm locked in. I'm ready to, go and ace this test.
Yeah.
And it really just the classroom always I feel like is more important than the field because the classroom gets you to the field. The field doesn't
Yeah.
get you to the classroom. You could do a lot of things in a classroom. You could do a lot more things in a classroom you could do on a football field. And I think that that's something that not a lot of people don't really realize because
Hmm.
some of these kids, they're amazing athletes, but they just don't have the GPA. They don't have the academic requirements to make these big schools. And that's why I feel like we should definitely have, kind of a system where we can kind of help them out with that kind of academic system.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well said. Okay, I had to ask you about this. Your dad shared this story about you getting an IQ test in first grade and said you were from genius to superior. So I had to ask you about that one, Joe.
So, so basically, what happened was I was in
Yeah.
first grade. I didn't really, acknowledge that I was genius to superior. Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
not the case. That's not the case.
Okay.
No one's
Okay.
perfect. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm definitely I'm not as smart as my parents think I am. So sorry, mom and dad. Sorry, mom and dad. They're probably outside my door. They're like punching air right
Yeah, I
now.
know. I had to ask
Oh,
you about that. I was like, I had to get that nugget in. Hey, when you talk about the school overall, St. Joseph Regional High School, in terms of the student body, President Mr. Kevin McNulty, Principal Mr. Michael Bruno, interim, you have the AD Dan Morangi. Just talk about the structure itself, like from top to bottom. It's important to have that in terms of having a successful school and athletic program. Just talk about the support from the administration athletic department.
well, I'm not really close with the admins yet, but I am
Okay.
definitely close with Coach Morangi. I talk to
Mhm.
him a lot. We obviously know each other, and I think that he definitely helps me out. With Sam going through something, he'll sit me down. He'll talk to me about it.
Yeah.
He's there for that kind of situation. But staff in general and the student body, great group of people. It's a
Yeah.
very small student body, so the teachers really get to know you better. They really get to have more of a personal experience rather than just you're another kid in the classroom. They get to, like they
Mhm.
know your names, they know what you have to do, they know if you have maybe a problem that you have, maybe you have like ADHD or something, they can handle that. And that's why I feel like St. Joe's is different than all these other schools because I'm not trying to drop names, but there are other schools that it's almost like an assembly line. They just
Mhm.
walk in, you do work, emotionless, you walk out. And St. Joe's,
Yeah.
you have a good experience in the classroom. You can you mess around, be funny, but you definitely get the work done. And I think that that's something that's very important in St. Joe's because the
Yeah.
work is so important because you just get to, sit down, you get to just acknowledge all of this information that you're now gaining and you could carry on into, your
Yeah.
college years and past that.
No, it's true. You hit, make an excellent point there. Just a couple more left, Joe. I had to ask you. You mentioned your mom before. I asked you about your dad. If you have any siblings, extended family members, just what they meant to you in terms of your academic and athletic journey here up to this point. Your freshman year at St. Joe's.
Mm, that's a good question. But
Yeah.
my dad, my dad's definitely helped me academically. He always helps me. I get home from school. He talks to me. He asks me something that happened. I'll tell him, oh, I got this question wrong. I got ABC wrong. He'll sit
Hmm.
down. He'll talk to me. Because he's in the fruit business. He knows his math. He knows his stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he sits down and we really just get to talk and we have good conversation and we get the work done. And I know where I went. I know where I go wrong. I do the corrections. It's really good. Like he's a really cool person, right? So,
Yeah. No,
and
that's
my
it's
dad, my brother,
good.
right? My younger brother, he's definitely, a younger brother. If I, in the nicest way possible, he's a
Yeah.
younger. He's definitely, a bit naggy when I'm trying to do my work.
Yeah.
He's kind of walking in and out, playing around with the dog, trying to distract me. But I'll stay locked in, I'll stay on paper.
Yeah.
But obviously I mentioned my mom, she's a teacher, she teaches in Yonkers. And
Okay.
she definitely knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She got me in line if I'm like annoyed about like a teacher or a class or something, she'll get me in line because
Yeah.
she knows what teachers have to go through because she is one. She knows what teachers have to go through grading all these papers. Maybe someone will slip up on one. It's not our fault. Um, yeah, my grandparents, they're amazing, loving people. They're very supportive. They come to all my games. They're very close to us. They actually live around the block from us. So, they're very
Okay.
supporting family, very nice, tight knit family. And yeah, I definitely think that my family is a big part of my academic and athletic success.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear. Hey, going back to the game of football, I'm wondering, you've been playing for a while, said what are some of the intangibles that stand out to you that make the game, worthwhile, that you have the passion to do it, just year after year, but just what stands out in terms of the game, Joe?
Yeah, only playing for 2 years, I only have, so much to go off of, but
Yeah.
definitely the experience you have with your teammates, the friendships, the bonds you gain with all your
Mm,
teammates, especially with your specific positions. Like my old line comes over almost every
yeah.
week. We have food, we hang out. It's like
Yeah.
it's a big meetup.
Yeah.
Skill positions obviously do the same thing. We're a big family. We're a big happy family, and that's the main thing. That's the really all besides obviously playing. Winning. That's the main thing that you get to know everyone on your team and you have a good connection with everyone because if you don't have a good connection with everyone, that's not gonna go as well on the field.
Yeah.
It's gonna show that you don't have a good connection with everyone. So that's definitely my main thing about football.
Yeah, I agree. They built that winning culture and that chemistry. I mean, it is a true brotherhood. I mean, again, even it goes beyond the game of football. I mean, I think there are life lessons to be learned, and I'm sure you have that again with the rest of your teammates. Okay, Joe. When it comes to the NFL, any particular, said left tackles, offensive line that you pay particular attention to?
That's a really good question.
Okay.
As a Patriots fan, Trent Brown definitely one of
Hmm.
my favorites because I can kind of relate to him. He's tall, he's big, he plays my position, and
Hmm.
we kind of share the same strengths and weaknesses. Trent Brown's feet aren't as fast, and the same with me. We have trouble getting off the ball, getting to the more faster, more nimble defensive ends. So,
Hmm.
it's definitely someone I can relate with and I can kind of go off of his lead. I watch his film, I study what he does. So that's definitely something that I could work off of. And yeah, I know another person because I used to play right tackle. Another
Okay.
person, Tyron Smith for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Yep.
Outstanding athlete. He has like instruction videos about where to go, what to do. Like if you're doing this wrong, he corrects you. Like and I watch his film too, obviously. So definitely they both kind of have a special spot in my heart because they play my position. They had the same struggles, but they have a lot of success. So I can kind of see where I'm doing wrong, watch their film, see what they're doing right, and kind of mirror it. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my two favorite players. Right?
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear. Okay, before you get the final word and message here, Joe, I think you're in a great spot to offer some much needed advice to those younger kids and athletes out there in terms of wanting to succeed in the game of football. What is it? What would you say to them? That because there's a lot of pressures out there in terms of playing sports, football per se. Well, I'm just wondering what you would say to them.
Ooh, really, stay good in the classroom. Don't get bad grades. Stay good to your parents. You know, don't do enhancing substances.
Mhm.
Stay clean. Don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school. Stay good on the field. Stay coachable. Be sure to not lose focus in your sport. Make sure to not lose passion and your dedication because that's a very big part. If you lose your passion and
Yeah.
dedication, it really shows because then you start slacking in practice. You start missing your assignment. Then eventually you start getting like talking back to the coach. Like it builds, and that's definitely the main thing to me. Be coachable and stay passionate and stay dedicated to your specific field.
Well said. Hey, Joe, you get the final word and message here for family, friends, coaches, teammates, St. Joseph Regional High School Administration, athletic departments, and community of Montvale, and of course your hometown of Orangeburg, New York. The floor is yours, Joe.
Um, just like what to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
oh,
for everyone. Yeah, yeah.
first I want to thank God. My position is God could He put me in a perfect position. My parents put me in a perfect position. My teachers, my coaches, the administration. They definitely they all I'm in the right place, and I think that I want to thank I just want to thank everyone because I couldn't really do any of this because football is a team sport. So is life. Life is a team effort. You can't do life by yourself. You ever try to do life by yourself, it's not going to end well. Then you
Mhm.
get selfish and you start making bad decisions. So life is a team, it's a team effort. Football is a team sport, that's where you kind of go that's where they kind of connect, that's like football is like life, It- there's some hard hits, you get knocked down, you got to get back up and you got to hit them back. You
Yeah.
got to hit them back, you got to keep going, you got to keep running and eventually you're going to score. And that score is going to be something very, very big, and you're going to be very, very successful. And I'm just kind of talking about myself at this point. I don't really have anything else
Hey,
to
you're
say.
preaching the choir.
uh, yeah, that's really it. Just
Okay.
I just gotta say dedicated.
Sounds good. Hey, Joe, just an incredible honor and privilege being able to interview you. Congratulations on your success. I know there's plenty more to achieve, I said in the next, 3 years and even after that. And just keep up the great job.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I want to thank you again for interviewing me, and I want to thank God for this opportunity. I want to thank my parents for this opportunity, and I'm blessed.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.